internationally known scholar in the area of productive aging, health equity, intergenerational relationships, and social policy. So Ernest is the co-lead of the American Academy of Social Work and Social Welfare's Grand Challenge on advancing longevity, advancing healthy aging and the productive lives. He's also a senior fellow of the NYU Aging Incubator. So please welcome Ernest. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's a real pleasure to be here with you today. And for those individuals who are joining us on Facebook Live, welcome. We totally envy that you're in the comforts of your own home, maybe having some hot chocolate or even an espresso. And thank you to NYU Incubator. Previously, I was at Boston University, and when I was thinking about moving to NYU, one of the main motivators was in fact the incubator on aging. I think this is really a terrific opportunity for not just doing research and answering together the public and engaging in this critical dialogue on how we could change the normative ways of aging, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. And it's a real pleasure to introduce Dr. Ruth Finkelstein. I've known her for a few years now. About 2-3 years ago, she had invited me to Columbia, the Aging Boom Academy. And it's really a terrific opportunity to reciprocate and invite you now to NYU and to our campus. Dr. Finkelstein is the new executive director to the Brookdale Center on Aging at Hunter, CUNY. She's also the professor of urban public health. Her leadership at the center is to pursue research, program development, and training to inform policy here in New York City. A great place to grow old. Her perspective is that the conditions of our lives across our lifespan influence the way we age, and she believes we need to give everyone the opportunity to age as well as they possibly can. So you can see her vision maps onto the Aging Incubator here at NYU in that same spirit. Before Brookdale, Dr. Finkelstein ran an aging center at Columbia, and before that, she was the principal architect of age-friendly New York. Her favorite is, quote, game changer, end quote. She earned her doctorate from Johns Hopkins, and it's a real pleasure to invite you here, Ruth. And so she will speak for about 40-45 minutes, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. So please take some notes. Be ready to ask your questions, and let's engage in some really terrific conversations. So with that, Dr. Finkelstein.
Thank you so much. I am feeling sort of informal about this because we're a nice small gathering, and because I'm always more comfortable when I'm feeling informal anyway. And as I know a number of you and wish I knew all of you, I will resist the temptation to have you all go around and say why you're here, lest it take up all the time. But what I do need to do by way of caveat as I begin is to say that there are lots of different ways to categorize the kinds of people in the world. But one of the ways is how they give a dinner party. And there's one kind of person that cooks everything that they would cook at the dinner party for somebody else to test out all the recipes and be sure that everything is just perfect. And I have the good luck to be a very good friend of someone who's like that. So I get to be the tester before the dinner party. It's great. And then there's people like me who make things up for the first time and serve them at dinner parties because it wouldn't be any fun if you'd made it before. And so I tell you this to say that I am not a person with a canned speech. I am a person who thinks by talking, and by talking with groups of people who I respect. And I'm thinking very hard about a new idea right now. It's very occupying to me. It's this idea of cumulative disadvantage and cumulative advantage. And we're going to be talking about that a lot in relationship both to aging and to a number of other dimensions of variation. And I apologize in advance if there are people who came here because they heard I made a great lasagna. You know, that is, if there are people who came here because they wanted to hear about age-friendly New York City, and that have me tell all about the relationship between environmental structures and the quality of life and the contributions of the urban environment and the way that we need to reconceptualize aging and people who are aging as an asset to society and so forth. We're going to stipulate all that and jump off of this high dive into talking about stuff that I don't know anything about. But I've been reading and studying and thinking, and I think it's critical. I think that it is critical. I think it's a hold of a really big idea that makes a really big difference. And I want to have you respond and tell me what you think about how I'm starting to think about it. So, before we launch into the to share with you over the course of this talk a couple of videos that were developed by my old team at Columbia in a wonderful project called Exceeding Expectations. And Exceeding Expectations NYC is a website that you should check out. We followed 20 New Yorkers from all areas of the city and walks of life who had exceeded the life expectancy, exceeding expectations of 81, and we followed them in their daily lives. This is not about jumping out of parachutes, and it's not about being ill in bed. It's about the reality, the arc of daily life. And we made a couple, whoops, we're going back, gotta go back, which takes this one. So we made a couple of videos over the course of that project, and because I believe so incredibly much in people's voices talking about themselves, not me talking about them, I'm going to share these as we go along because I want the voices of older New Yorkers to be one of the things that is informing this incredibly abstract thinking that we're also going to be doing. That's enough.